So what's going on, guys? Frankietrades here, bringing you another new weekly stock watch list. This time around, you guys know how we like to start, go into the earnings, and then go straight into the watch list. But before I get started and give you guys that info, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it, and Stock Hours would as well. So looking into this week with earnings, there really isn't too much going on. I've mentioned from time to time now that the tech earnings are pretty much out of the way. Really, the biggest one that we have that is coming up is NVIDIA. NVIDIA will be next week. It won't be this current week, but it'll be the next one, and that'll be probably the most important earnings that we have since, NVIDIA with the whole AI chip stock and the semiconductors, that's been one of the hottest industries right now. So even with the market pulling back, so it'll be something to keep an eye out for and see how that is going to work out for us. So without much more further ado, this is your guys' favorite part of the watch list, and that's actually diving into what's going to be important here. So first things first is, you guys know I like to go talk about ES and NQ. It's always important to talk about the indexes first. So as far as ES goes, really all I'm watching on this, since we are making a recovery ever since that drawback that we got with the whole Japan issue with interest rates and everything, I'm looking at 5,600 on ES. There really isn't too much going on with my notes here. And when I charted with the Discord yesterday, looking at 5,600. After 5,600, I'm looking at 5,610. And then after 5,610, I'm looking at 5,630 to the upside. We are, roughly 120 points away from all-time highs again. So we are slowly getting back up there, along with the other tech stocks as well, making a way up as well. But that is what I'm going to be watching on ES. No trend lines that I see that can get in the way for us, so we're pretty clear on that end. Next up is NQ. NQ, though, on the other hand, does have a trend line that we should keep an eye out for. It is a pretty steep trend line. I'm not usually a big fan of steep trend lines, but this one's actually been respecting it multiple times now, as you can see here on the 1 hour, how many times we've been bouncing off of it. So it's something to keep an eye out for to the downside in case we do see any downside coming into this oncoming week. But as far as the levels go on NQ, I'm looking at 19,700. After 19,700, I'm looking at 19,900. And then after 19,900, I'm looking at 20,000 on NQ. 19,700, roughly 100 points away from where it exactly closed at. You know how futures goes. It can gap down. It can gap up. Who knows, right? Our job isn't to predict where the market's going to be in a week. Our job as scalpers, and as far as being in the Stock Hours Discord, what we like to teach and preach, is being able to execute everything of what's currently going on in front of us. Like I said, I don't like being in the habit of being able to predict where the market's going to go, or even my students, right, in the Discord, where they ask me at times during our lessons or even pre-market review of like, hey, where is X and X going to be at the end of the day? Where do you guys think it's going to be? Like, I could care less to answer those questions because that's not the thing that I think about at the end of the day. My thing that I'm really thinking about is, how am I going to take this trade with where the levels are currently at, and how am I going to execute it? And, I've been doing that for 4 or 5 years now, and it's been working out. That's why I'm still around compared to other people who try to predict the market, and they're nowhere to be found. So that's just a little bit of lesson right there for you guys, especially for retail traders who just, pretty much trade these smaller time frames, right? Now, obviously, you have your scalpers, day traders, and whatnot, but, as far as the scalper goes, that's what I like to preach, and that's what we like to preach in the chat. So as far as the main watch list goes, just a little bit of advice there for you guys. So as far as the watch list goes, first thing that I will pull up is Netflix here. Netflix has been on an absolute tear, so it's something that everyone should keep their eyes on, because it is only roughly ever since where it closed at 673, roughly $30 away from all-time high. All-time high is at 701, so it's going to be something important to keep an eye out for. Gonna be watching 680 level. After 680, I have room up to 682, and that is more than enough on Netflix, because based on how those contracts move, they can be super volatile. The only bad thing is the spreads on those, so that's something to keep an eye out for and be careful of. So size carefully on that one. Next up is NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I'm looking at the 125 level. After 125, I have room up to 127 with volume profile, where congestion happens to pick up again with the volume and liquidity at that level. So that's how much I have room on the stock. I was watching this pretty closely on Friday. Never ended up coming around. It is pretty close, so who knows if this breaks overnight. We'll just have to see going into tomorrow or throughout the week on how this is moving. So that is what I'm going to be watching on NVIDIA. And then last but not least, for my main watch list, I don't have anything for my side watches, believe it or not. So this is pretty much all I got, is SMCI. It's a pretty short watch list. There wasn't really too many great setups, but it is something still worth recording and telling you guys about. For the ones who can't afford the Discord, you guys get this free watch list every Sunday. So as far as SMCI goes, I am looking at this at the 640 level. I was looking at 638. I'm glad I waited for 640 on Friday, just because it is a Friday. I wasn't going to take level at 638. I was going to wait and get more confirmation that SMCI was strong and ahead of the market. And you know what? I am glad I avoided it. So as far as SMCI goes, I'm looking at the 640 level with room up to 645, where this trend line is at on the 4 hour that one of my students found that I ended up actually really liking. Shout out to them. And then after 645, I have room up to 650. Now, obviously, we have a gap above 658, or I believe 653. I wouldn't count the earnings candle right here. So we really do have a gap here from 653 all the way up to 661 roughly. So it's not something that's too crazy, but it's something still worth noting, because on a stock like SMCI, that could matter a lot for those tiny gaps, especially with the room that it has to run. So it is a little lagging behind the market as far as all-time highs goes. We could see that the all-time high was what? It was like 1100 something, right? 1200. So we are 600 points away from that, as in the market's pretty close to all-time highs already again. So we're going to have to wait for some sort of run-up on this. This is splitting October 1st, I believe, so we only have a little bit of time left on this before it does split, and this stock is pretty much probably off our watch list. So but yeah, that is about it for the watch list, guys. Like I said, there isn't too much going on, but it's more than enough to give you guys an idea or two here and there for this. So but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We would really appreciate it, and Stock Hours would as well. But yeah, hope you guys have a safe week and play it safe. So peace out.